Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hello from Lake Havasu, Arizona. I'm going to give people a little bit to hop on, if anyone's hopping on, and then everyone else, you are lucky enough to catch the replay. Here's the van. We moved the Dreamcatcher chandelier. Look at it. So nice. Give another 15 seconds. And when you hop on, say hi. And even if you're watching the replay, say hi and say also like why you decided to watch the replay, because I want to know. All right, peeps, what does worthiness have to do with it? I feel like we throw this word around quite a bit, and the literal definition of worthiness is the quality of being good enough. So if you were to Google it and you were to look up the definition of worthiness, that's what comes up, is the quality of being good enough. And what does this have to play? Like what aspect and how does this play into our life? How does this hold us back? How does this move us forward? What does it have to do with anything? Because I use it a lot, right? I'm a worthiness coach. I help people realize, see, and cultivate their self-worth so that they can create a life that sets their soul on fire. But what does it have to do with anything? And I think that that's what we don't talk about enough, is we throw words around, but we don't really see the effects that it has on our life. And so if we look at worthiness as the quality of being good enough, actually I was proven wrong. Most of us have a story of our enoughness. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not lovable enough, right? I'm not successful enough. Whatever your enough story is. And so how does that play into your life? Well, let's just say, okay, my story is I'm not good enough, right? That's like something that I've had to heal, and I've worked on healing for a few years now, that I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. And so what does that do? Well, for a long time, it didn't allow me to show up in my business, right? Because I didn't feel like I was a good enough coach. I didn't feel like I was a good enough businesswoman. I had no idea what I was doing, right? And like, especially when it comes to business, there's still so many aspects that I struggle with, right? Because I'm learning, I'm new, I'm stepping into my own. But let's say, so like I'm not good enough. And I tell myself that, hey, Judy, I tell myself that. Well, what that does is, I'm not good enough to start a business. I'm not a good enough coach to help people all over the world, right? What that does is that holds me back in the space of doubt, in the space of insecurity. It holds me back and doesn't allow me to step into my power, because I'm telling myself I'm not good enough. And then I find the evidence in my life of how that's not true, right? And so I invite you to see, whatever your not enough story is, what evidence and what case have you made against yourself? What have you actually seen, and go back and draw back on from your past to prove yourself right? And this is what I spoke on the other day at my speaking engagement, that we are so more willing to be right than we are to actually change our life. We want to be right more than we want to live fully and step into our power and love deeply. We would rather be right. And so I'm parked next to the road, so you just heard the UPS bus go by probably. And so you would rather be right than have your quality of life. You'd rather be right than fully live and step into your power. And so how do you prove yourself wrong, right? Because that's what I'm going to invite you to do. I invite you to be open to being wrong about what you think about yourself, what you're capable of, what your potential is, what you can do in this lifetime, what you can do for other people. I invite you to be open to being wrong about that, so that you can create a whole new narrative and a whole new story. Because if you believe you're not good enough and you've told yourself that you're not good enough or whatever your enough story is, and then you've found evidence for the past 30 years, 40 years, 50 years of how that is true, then there's no question. It doesn't, of course, you're not going to put yourself out there. Of course, you're not going to do the things that scare you. Of course, you're not going to question and take risks and bet on yourself. Why would you bet on yourself if you told yourself that you're never good enough anyway? Like, of course you feel that way. And so no one blames you, and I don't blame you for having that story and letting it hold you back. It makes sense. Of course you do. So I hope you see that. But now that you're aware of it, you need to step into that power. You need to step into that new story. And so how do you do that? Right? Hey, Katie. You find evidence of how you are good enough. And a lot of people have a really hard time with that. They're like, Julie, how do I even start doing that? Right? Well, you start by changing your definition of what good enough means. And so for me in this van build, okay, like my big story was I'm not good enough. Like, I don't know how to use power tools. I'm not going to be able to contribute. It's like, how am I going to actually be able to create this? Well, I had to change my definition of being good enough. And I offer this to you. My definition of being good enough changed to I'm good enough because I ask for help when I need it. I'm good enough because I'm willing to fail. And I'm willing to try and try and try again until I get better. I'm good enough because I'm willing to be wrong. I'm good enough because, hey, Tally, I'm good enough because I'm willing to face my fears and act regardless of how afraid I am. And I've had to change my definition of good enough because I needed to change that, right? Like, I needed to step into my enoughness. And so now when I find evidence of being enough, it's like, did I do something wrong? Did I ask for help? Did I do something even though I was scared? Did I try and try and try regardless of how many times I failed? If I say yes to those things, then I am good enough. Do you see how that works? I hope you do. And so I'm inviting you to change your definition of good enough and then find evidence, tangible evidence, things like that of what I just told you. And you're more than welcome to use my definition to prove to yourself how you are good enough. Because imagine if you felt good enough, right? If you felt lovable, if you felt worthy, if you felt successful, how would you show up differently in life? If you felt good enough, right, to apply to maybe a position or to start a business or to begin working out and treating your body right, or to put yourself out there to find love, or put yourself out there to your partner in a new way. If you felt good enough, how could that change your life? Almost everyone I talk to, when they realize that them changing their enough story, it will literally change their life. So what does worthiness have to do with it? What does the quality of being good enough have to do with it? It has everything to do with it. Everything. If you want to change your life because you want to attract love, because you want to start a business, because you want to create abundance, because you want to feel peace, because you want to have freedom, because you want to move to a different city or a different country or whatever else, because you want to love yourself more, because you want to feel comfortable in your own skin, you want to feel confident. Whatever it is, everything comes down to what you believe you are worthy of and if you feel good enough to have that. Everything comes down to that. So what does worthiness have to do with it? You guys, everything. And that's why I talk about it so much. And that's why I'm always writing about it and posting about it and doing lives about it. Because I truly believe that this is key, that this is our foundation, that this is essential to every part of our life and having success in every part of our life, is believing in our own quality of being good enough. So change your definition. How can you change this in your life? Change your definition of enoughness. Find evidence of how that's true and allow yourself to see it. I'm going to be doing lives every day for the rest of the week to help you dive deeper into this and addressing different aspects of this every day. Please, please join me. I might even do it. It might be easy just to do it at the same time every day. So I'll plan on doing it 2:30 every day from now until Friday. And on top of that, if you're looking to dive really deep into this and to actually change and heal your enoughness story, I just launched my 1-year anniversary program of the Worthiness Mindset that is addressing all of this. And if you are ready to really change that story, to show up for yourself, to discover how this plays into our life and can literally change every aspect of your life, then I invite you to reach out to me. And if not, and you just want this, then this is my gift to you. You are worthy. You are enough exactly as you are. And I'm so, so, so grateful that you exist on this planet, because you have a gift in this world that no one else has. Allow yourself to see it. Please share this with someone who needs it. This is how we create and make a message, a movement out of a message. Thank you. Have an amazing rest of your day.